Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Cult Movie Tuesday right here on Night Owl Video. Today I am talking about The Wicker Man. Yes, we're going to be talking about cast, production, critical response, where you can watch the movie, my thoughts on the film, and all that jazz. So I hope you'll stick around till the end. Thank you to everybody who's subscribed recently. I'm now up to about 520 subscribers, I think, which is incredible. Thank you to everybody who's decided to follow along. I appreciate your support. Today we're talking about The Wicker Man. This is a folk horror movie, although that term, I think, has gotten more popular in recent years. This probably would have just been called a horror movie. From 1973, it was directed by a person named Robin Hardy, who only directed 3 other movies, and I don't know any of the other 3, so that's what that is. This movie stars Edward Woodward, who was in A Christmas Carol, 1984, with George C. Scott. And he was also in Hot Fuzz, interestingly enough, which is a movie that draws some inspiration from The Wicker Man. This also stars Britt Eklund, who was in The Man with the Golden Gun, and actually made a few appearances on the 1970s Battlestar Galactica. This also stars Ingrid Pitt, who was in The Vampire Lovers, Countess Dracula, and the James Bond film Octopussy. And this also stars Christopher Lee, who was in Dracula, Prince of Darkness, and Taste the Blood of Dracula. Rest in peace, Christopher Lee, of course. He also did, more recently, in more recent years, he did Lord of the Rings and Star Wars, but I always think of him from, the old Hammer movies. The synopsis for Wicker Man is Sergeant Howie, played by Edward Woodward, that's hard to say, arrives in a small Scottish island of Summer Isle to investigate the report of a missing child. A conservative Christian, the policeman observes the residents' frivolous sexual displays and strange pagan rituals, particularly the temptations of Willow, played by Britt Eklund, daughter of the island magistrate, Lord Summerisle, played by Christopher Lee. The more Sergeant Howie learns about the islanders' strange practices, the closer he gets to tracking down the missing child. And so I won't give away the ending, but I feel like most people probably know the ending, and the cover kind of gives it away as well. This film, in the early 1970s, Christopher Lee was a Hammer horror regular, of course, best known for his roles in the series of successful films, beginning with The Curse of Frankenstein, playing the monster in 1957. Lee wanted to break free of this image and take on more interesting roles, acting roles, that is. Sir Christopher Lee said that he considers this to be one of his greatest roles ever. Christopher Lee paid his own press tour out of his own pocket, and he hit every stop in the USA willing to interview him about the movie. According to a rumor, some farmers in Iowa were surprised to see him on live early morning public access TV shows. The Wicker Man was filmed in 1972 in Galloway, Scotland, and there was some controversy when Britt Eklund labeled it as quote-unquote the bleakest place on earth. The producers were apparently forced to apologize to the locals. As filming occurred between October and November, there were no trees in blossom. The trees in the scenes with the pregnant women had to be brought in and were all handmade. So it always fascinates me when they film a movie that's not in the season that it's supposed to be in, and they have to do all this stuff. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Meet the Parents with Ben Stiller was another one where they had to hand paint trees and stuff because it was supposed to be set in the fall or something, but it wasn't the fall. Rod Stewart apparently, the singer Rod Stewart, apparently launched an attempt to block the release when he learned that his then girlfriend Britt Eklund appeared naked in the movie. She was naked. Due to the very small budget, most of the cast, including Christopher Lee, worked without pay. Apparently. That's wild to me. I did not know that. And when the film opened in the UK, it was relegated to the bottom half of a double bill with the movie Don't Look Now from 1973. The two movies shared thematic similarities, most notably that both feature protagonists who believe that they are in pursuit of a missing child. Don't Look Now. I can't remember if I reviewed that movie or if I just showed it in a thrifting haul, but that's a really cool, weird movie. So I could see that being a double bill at this time. I mean, I'm not sure what else you would have put it with, but the BBC says will give you nightmares for years. The critical reception for The Wicker Man. The Wicker Man is well regarded by critics. Film magazine Cinefantastique describes it as, quote-unquote, the Citizen Kane of horror movies. And in 2004, Total Film magazine named The Wicker Man the 6th greatest British film of all time. It also won the 1978 Saturn Awards for Best Horror Film. The final scene was number 45 on Bravo's 100 Scariest Movie Moments. And during the 2012 Summer Olympics opening ceremony, it was included as part of a sequence that celebrated British cinema. The film currently holds a 91% on Rotten Tomatoes. I actually just rewatched the Bravo 100 Scariest Movie Moments. You can watch that for free on YouTube. It's really cool. But this was, that ending scene, which I'm going to assume most people are familiar with. That takes number 45 on that list. So it's pretty scary. Jesus Christ. It's very, if you've seen it, you know, it's pretty intense. It's one of those movies, my thoughts on this film, a very cool movie. It's an early folk horror film. I think that terminology's gotten more popular in recent years with The Witch, which I'm actually going to be reviewing on Friday. The acting was really good. The atmosphere was very cool. It makes you feel like you're in a dream, the way, you know, the police officer wanders through the town and he's witnessing all these strange pagan rituals, and it kind of like you kind of start to feel like you're in a bit of a dream, like a bit of a fog. Everybody's kind of like, putting him off and saying like, oh, there's nothing going on here. And he's just so convinced that, there's this missing girl and what has happened to this girl. And, I don't want to spoil it for you because it is a really excellent movie if you've never seen it. The ending will give you the chills, honestly. It's so claustrophobic feeling. So this police officer is flying in on a pontoon plane into this little village. So he's stuck there. He can't get off this island, and you really start to feel that kind of claustrophobic feeling. If you've ever been like away on a holiday by yourself and you've been in a strange place and you're surrounded by strange people, how kind of like disarming that can feel at times. And so just add in this whole like pagan cult thing on top of that, and it's really, really distressing. This poor police officer. But yeah, it can kind of leave you with this sort of sickly feeling of like, I want to get out of here, but you're sort of stuck there with this police officer trying to figure out this mystery. And it is really, really moody and really atmospheric. Would be a great watch for Halloween. Just a really cool, spooky movie. If you like folk horror, if you like Christopher Lee, if you like movies about cults or paganism or witchcraft, things like that, this is your jam. This is probably considered one of the best of those ones. So yeah, I highly recommend this. This edition is the Lionsgate, Blu-ray from 2014. It does say the final cut, so I don't know if this is like an extended cut from the original, but this is the one that I have, the one that I've watched for the last couple of years. There's Christopher Lee on the back, looking pretty intense. Leonard Maltin says a must-see, 4 stars out of 4. The special features, Worshipping the Wicker Man featurette, the music of the Wicker Man. I didn't mention the music is really cool too. It's like a lot of these sort of like pagan folk songs, and that's another thing that's kind of like a really cool contrast with what's happening in the film, is you've got these really like barley hippie, they're singing about barley oats and all this stuff, and it's like kind of jarring because what is going on the screen is sometimes very distressing, and then you've got these really pretty folk songs. So I forgot to mention that, but that is quite good. This has an interview with the director Robin Hardy, restoration, comparison, and trailer. So that's that. The inside is very bland. Just the name of the movie. There's the back, as I showed you before. This is presented in 16:9 widescreen from 1974. Color. It has a approximate runtime of 94 minutes, so that's a beaut. It's a Region A Blu-ray. It doesn't have a rate. Oh, it's unrated. Okay, so this motion picture previously was released in a version rated R. The unrated version contains material different from the original R-rated version. So I hope I'm not missing any good stuff. Hopefully it's all in here, but yeah, I really like this movie. I've seen this now probably half a dozen times in my life. But you know, whenever I'm in the mood for that kind of like folk horror or something like that, I always throw this on. I am reviewing The Witch on Friday as part of my Fright Friday series, another kind of more modern folk horror movie that I really like. I also reviewed this documentary a couple months ago, Woodlands Dark and Days Bewitched, a history of folk horror. So if you want to know more about folk horror, I recommend this one. This is from Severin Films. This is a great little documentary. Well, it's not little, it's like quite long, but I highly recommend this. 192 minutes from 2021. But this movie is mentioned in this documentary at the beginning as like sort of like one of the OGs, and then we go forward into, you know, newer stuff. But yeah, highly recommend that. You can currently rent this on YouTube, Google Play, Apple TV, and Amazon Prime. I got this one off of Amazon, so I'm sure you can still order this one. It is Lionsgate, so it's not like it's a limited edition boutique version, but I know there's that really cool wooden box one from Anchor Bay from back in the day. Be kind of cool to have that in the collection, but for now, this is perfectly good. The transfer on here is really nice. The sound is really good. Yeah, highly recommend this version. So that's my thoughts on The Wicker Man. Did you like this movie? Did you not like this movie? Maybe you haven't seen it yet. If you haven't, I highly recommend going and renting it or picking it up on Amazon or your local Blu-ray retailer or wherever that is anymore. But yeah, check this movie out. It's really good. If you like folk horror, Christopher Lee, pagan movies, witchcrafty kind of stuff, folk horror, be great for the Halloween season. Highly recommend it. Gosh, the Halloween season is just around the corner, isn't it? I'm sure some people are already probably getting excited for that. I think Spirit of Halloween, I checked their website the other day. They do have like 2024 stuff out already. So it'll be here before you know it. And heck, why not make Wicker Man part of your Halloween viewing? It's highly recommended from me and lots of other people for that matter. But leave your comments below. Let me know what you thought about the film. Thank you so much for watching. Follow me over on Instagram at Night Owl Video. And until next time, I will see you at the video store or the thrift store or just out and about somewhere, but hopefully not in some English countryside being chased by evil pagans. But until next time, take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video.